Hey guys, GhazzyTV here with another Path of Exile video, and in this one we're going to talk about the 3.19.1 patch notes preview. Some of these changes are good, some of them are bad, and some of them are questionable, but for the most part I think that I feel personally that GGG are listening to us and they're making changes based on the feedback that's been delivered, and they're making some changes, and I feel like people seem to be hung up on being very negative towards everything right now. For example, we're going to start from the top, increase the amount of reflections by about 50%. All right, that's a good thing. The breach stories are starting is a start of a breach instead in their reflection. That's a good change. Rock formations, I don't really care about this, but it's still a good change. Widens and bridges, connecting the reflection tiles to the Kalandra. This is a good change. And nobody cares about this. Heralding minions of Arch Nemesis no longer in the Asteroid Mine, but they will still be available in the Asteroid Mine if they come from Legion Breach or Beyond Encounters, which are league specific. I think this is fine. Then again, one could argue that these changes should have been in way sooner, but hey, well, let's take our win and see how the game feels when the patch comes in. Rare monster spawn during boss fights is now limited to 2 Arch Nemesis modifier, is a good change. Monsters that don't drop loot is also limited to 2 Arch Nemesis modifier, also a good change. Here's the big one. Executioner and the Verdant Spores and the Rejuvenating Archnem modifier no longer affect player minions. As soon as this kicks in, your Animate Guardian for minion builds will be much better at surviving. There are still a few things that can be scary, but this is one of the biggest things when it comes to generic mapping. There are a few things with endgame bossing, which they are covering here. The life of Beyond monsters have been lowered by roughly 5%. Here's one of those things in the changes that I personally am not a big fan of at all. These changes means that we're going to be in a position where I feel like if you're going to change it, make an impactful change. 5% doesn't feel like an impactful change. However, we don't know if this 5% lower HP on the Beyond bosses is their base HP or if it's just roughly 5% with the modifier scaling their HP. Because if it's their base HP, 5% is actually quite significant change. What is also a significant change is that the rest of the Beyond monsters have been lowered by approximately 60% HP. So I think that these changes, at least this is good, that just reading the numbers. This one, I don't know if it's good or not because we don't get the information of how it's been changed when they say roughly 5%, right? And I feel like 5%, if it's post-scaling, then it's like, kind of bad, right? So, improve the outcome of the Tainted Orbs, both Fusion Jewelers and Mythic Orbs. Now, we don't know how much better they are. I'm assuming we're going to have people doing some test videos with this. It's going to be interesting to see how much better they are, if that's going to be something that might be a profitable thing to run with. Normally, getting 6 links and whatnot is a little bit different this league compared to before because they don't sell for Divine Orb, which is now the main source of the biggest currency orb outside of mirrors. But I still think that this could be a possible look if the buffs to these are good enough, but we'll see that when people start testing it. Beyond bosses can no longer spawn in temporal incursions. I'm aware that some people have been abusing this a lot to make money out of it. I don't know how or what they were doing, so I can't really speak too much for this. So I'm not sure if this is a buff or nerf or how it's going to be perceived. So without having experience, I don't want to mention it or comment it too much because of lack of experience with it. This part here, lower the damage dealt to minions by league monster skills and endgame map boss skills that felt punishing. For example, Shaper's Beam and Slam skills, Tool, Creeping Avalanche Barrage skills, and many of Seer's Awakener World skills, amongst many others. I'll be honest with you guys, I wish they would have just mentioned Veritania. Veritania would be mentioned in here, saying, yo, her Storm is just killing everything, so we're going to nerf the minion damage there, okay? I'm assuming that she's going to be nerfed, but towards minions. But, you know, it would have been nice if they mentioned it. But this change, together with the execution and rejuve, these are the big changes that we wanted for minion survivability. And without testing this, I'm not sure if there's anything else that's problematic without seeing this live in the game. So it's going to be very fun to see the patch kick in, and we're going to see if this is the saving grace for minions or not when it comes to their survivability. They made the drop rate and lower area levels for where they can start dropping for both Eldritch, Exalted Chaos, and Annulment Orbs. Since these are a big factor in the new state of crafting in the game that we seemingly have to go with, I think this is a good change. Marks applied to monsters can be removed if you run at a great distance away from monsters. And then you have lower the number of rare and magic monsters spawn during harvest boss encounters, which is also again a good thing on top of the fact that they can't have more than 2 Arch Nem modifiers. Horde crafting quality of life update with the life force of each type you have available. And what they're saying is basically when you're in here, they will tell you up here how much you have of each juice. essentially. Reduce the likelihood of full sequence of strongbows could fail to spawn the Alva's memory. I haven't done this, so I can't speak for that either. The confined mouse window, I don't really care. Physical tag to the poacher's mark, and then there's a sound issue with the Arctic armor, and then a bunch of bug fixes. So that's basically the preview of the patch notes that we're about to see, and I'm quite excited about it. Obviously, there's still a lot of things that I think that they need to cater to. I think the crafting in general is not that good for the mid-range players that wants to use like Reforged Keep Suffix or Prefix, and I doubt they'll ever reintroduce this to the game. But outside of that, I think the crafting in general is in a rather sad state for the most part. That's just my personal opinion about it. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. But I do believe that, speaking for minions specifically with these changes, it's great, and we will see once the patch goes in. We'll have to play test it, and we will see how much of an impact this will have for most of the minion builds. We'll also see if there's any other issues that we might have been able to not see because of the underlying big problem, which is now being tackled, right? So once we get to the point of this patch, we're going to see if there's anything else that needs to be delivered as feedback to GHAZZY, and hopefully they'll continue to listen to us and make changes accordingly. That's all I really have to say about it. It's just sad to see that a lot of people are hanging on to the negativity and just screaming at the top of the lungs consistently about things, instead of seeing these patch notes and being like, okay, they are making changes. Yes, it's not as fast as we'd hoped for, but they're making changes. They're listening to us. All we can do is play the game. If you're still enjoying it, if you're still enjoying something to do in the game, play the game and provide feedback. If you don't enjoy it, play something else, and the rest of us that are finding things to enjoy in the game will continue to provide feedback, and hopefully they'll listen and adjust accordingly to the best possible way for us, at least. That's the way I see it. It's like, I'm so tired of all the negativity. I just want to have fun. It's a game. We're supposed to have fun playing it. Anyways, I don't want to prolong this video too much. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content. I appreciate that support a lot, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, stay safe and keep rocking.